I'm going to take the next 5 minutes and give you a little synopsis about the history of this club. But before we start with this history, I want you to remember 4 names. Sergio de Mello, Iraq, Pradeep Vincent, and finally, the 4th event, a merger of Group 4 and Superior. These are the 4 things that in a way brought about the birth of this club. 5 days from now, 9 years ago, the head of the United Nations in Iraq, Sergio de Mello, was assassinated in a car bombing at the Canal Hotel. What does that have to do with Toastmasters? I'm sure some of you knew that I was responsible for operations south of Nasiriyah all the way to the Kuwait border. And with this, our operations were put on the back burner. In December, we were told to move out of Iraq and reposition ourselves into Kuwait. I had to decommission my militia, my boys up across the border, and I had to collect the weapons. When I came here, there was one individual. His name was He had come from the Oasis Toastmaster in Saudi Arabia. And he was chatting with me about Toastmasters, and he didn't know anything about Toastmasters than me. Because when I was in Iraq, I didn't have much time for Toastmasters. And lo and behold, we got together with another individual, Norbert Mendonça, who also was from the Oasis Toastmaster. And we decided, let's have a Toastmaster club. But then I got my new deployment orders. I had to go back into Iraq in April. So we decided, since I was working with a company called Securicor, which later on merged with Group 4, we were told that for 3 months I'm going to be sitting in Kuwait pretty much weekly. It was the 3 of us who worked together and decided, let's do something rather than waste our time. There was another young lady. Her name was Farida Diaz. I forgot her middle name. Farida Mello Diaz or something like that. She was a Parsi lady, an Iranian lady, settled in Kuwait, and holds an Indian nationality now. She pioneered all of us together, and that's why the name Desert Pioneers came. She gave us some focus and direction because she used to work with the Diwan Amiri. We used to meet up at her place and some of the hotels. Another young lady, her name was Venus David. She came forward and said, I have time because I worked with, at that time, Info Center. And she started printing all these wonderful brochures. And the next thing we know, we got 20 members who are interested with all the flyers. And in March of 2004, we had the 4th English-speaking club in Kuwait. It was not just a momentous occasion, it was a great occasion because for the first time we could call ourselves an area. Although we were an unorganized district, it was a provisional district P, 79P. It was at DTAC in 2003 in Dubai that Kuwait was, and all of the Gulf countries were formally considered as a district 79 and the P was dropped off. Now, Desert Pioneers had a very turbulent start. The president served only for 3 months and she stepped down. We had Pradeep who took over the 2nd year. After that we had Norbert and we had Manohar Bijwani. Now ironically, there's one common denominator with a lot of our presidents. At the end of their term, this tradition has continued. Even our past president, and I'm sure for those of you who don't know his name, he's sitting amongst us. He too is leaving Kuwait. He's living up to the tradition of Desert Pioneers. Now, Desert Pioneers has had some highs and some lows. Let me talk to you about the highs. Ever since Desert Pioneers was started, it has strived to be a distinguished club. In 2005 onwards, they have constantly, and I don't see the ribbons here, they have constantly won the President's Distinguished Club, or at least a distinguished club. And the last 4 years, they have got 10 out of 10, except for 1 year where they got 9 out of 10. But they have consistently done that. There's a second thing. Members of Desert Pioneers have ironically always held the office of area governor for the last 5 years. Also, members of Desert Pioneers have had the distinction of having 2 division governors, Pradeep Vincent and me. So this club is really dynamic, it's got a lot of highs. But obviously, as we have highs, like a sine wave, there have to be some lows. There was a time in 2005, our membership dropped down to almost teens. We went through a membership drive. In fact, we lost our identity at a certain stage. Because we were so eager to have workshops and presentation, we forgot about our members. And that is when the ExCom came together and they did something very radical, dynamic, and so challenging that it's become the benchmark for all Toastmasters in Kuwait. For the first time, Toastmaster clubs started having ExCom meetings monthly, not quarterly. It was the first club that put out an agenda for ExCom meetings 11 months in advance. So the ExCom members could plan when they could attend the regular meetings as well as the ExCom meetings. Desert Pioneers also happened to be the first club to have a newsletter. Although over time, that also dwindled. So this club has had lots of highs, a couple of lows. There have been some great achievements in this club too. Pradeep Vincent was the first DTM from Kuwait who became a DTM. The previous DTM was somebody who got a DTM from Qatar and came to Kuwait. Pradeep was the first DTM member of this club who got his DTM. We had 2 other DTMs that came after, Guy Jovidan from the Kuwait Challengers, and we had Grace McGregor from the Pearl of the Gulf. And now we had the 4th DTM, which is Salu John. To conclude, this club is not just a young club, it's a dynamic club. In a way, it's not just dynamic, it is incessantly dynamic because it has consistently been producing not only good speakers, but great leaders. And some of the great speakers have even won at the area, division, and district level. So I'm telling you, my friends, those of you who are guests at other clubs, think twice. Which club do you want to be in? And members of this club, pat yourself twice on the shoulder. Once for being in a great club, and second time for knowing how great our club is.